Okay, so apparently that wasn't on record, and I was just talking to my phone. I was just standing there like, oh yeah, yeah. And then the app closed. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with my phone? And then I was like, oh, apparently, somebody forgot to press record. Actually, somebody forgot to put it in video mode. I don't know who that is. So I was like, okay, well, um, so I was like staring at my phone. I was like, woo, talking, 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 talking. Um, I guess again, I wanted to, since everyone's doing it right now, I'm such a follower. It's the, Raya and the Last Dragon, just my thoughts on the movie. Yes, I did pay $30 to watch it on Disney Plus. So it's a lot of money, yes, but it's the only. Okay, here's something. I don't know if anyone else knows this, but I know just because the only two movies to be put on Premiere Access. I don't know what's with the basically early access for earlier access. Did anyone else notice this, or was this just me? It's Mulan and Raya and the Last Dragon, which are both Asian centric stories, like Asia, either inspired by uh or set in Asia. What? Like, okay, like I'm not making it like Soul is free. Okay, which how if you have not seen Soul, watch it. I didn't make a video on that because it was Christmas. I'm like, oh, I'm having fun with my family. La di da di da. And then which if you've not seen Soul, watch it. It's more I describe that movie more for grown-ups than I do for kids. If that makes sense. So I was like, okay, well, so that wasn't put on Premiere Access. That was their other big release. Like, did anyone else know? That was just something I was thinking about today. I'm like, man, the only two movies to put on early, whatever you want to call it, access was the two, either the two with, I don't know how to say it, blah, 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 blah. The two that are set in Asia. Yeah, okay, there we go. Or inspired by Asian cultures. But like I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was like, that's interesting. Why is that Disney? And then Disney and is so interesting with the releases of their movies. Okay, so this is more like I will talk about my thoughts on the movie, and that'll be like a whole spoiler thing because I'll probably talk about the entire movie. Um, but yeah, that was just something I noticed. I was like, okay, well, they released Mulan, which I paid $30 for it, and I hated that I paid $30 for that movie because that movie was not worth the $30 that I paid for it. Like, why can't I just wait until December to watch it like everyone else? Whatever. That was a disappointment. I think I bought it because it's my friend's favorite Disney movie is Mulan, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll just pay. Can't be that bad. The trailers look really good, and then that was just like it did. We don't know how disappointing and let down the live action version of Mulan was. Like, I like some of it. I need to rewatch it and probably do like a whole thing on it. I guess I don't know. And then I paid $30 for it, which is more. So like the three big releases that would have been like theatrical, if they had releases in the theater, the movie theater. Um, there was three that I can think of. Maybe there was more. I don't know, but the three that I actually would have paid more than a subscription service to see was again Soul, Raya, and Mulan. And apparently, I'm doing like a comparison on it's interesting. I wonder if like Pixar had like something to do with like, yeah, we're releasing our movie, and well, it's fine if people don't pay for it. Pay for it, blah blah blah. I don't know. Like I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what's going on with Luca when that releases. I'm really excited for Luca. That looks good too. I'm just like a big Disney fan nerd. And Pixar too. So in terms I haven't even watched these movies recently yet. Like you're getting a whole spiel on them. But yeah, again, if you have not seen Soul, watch it. It's a good movie. It made did it make me cry? Probably not, but it made me think a lot. It was just again, it was more I was watching it, it was like in my opinion, because with my then because I did watch it on Christmas morning by myself and I got together with my family and my dad's like, well, it's on Disney Plus. And I'm like, well, Soul's, and he started it and he was really getting into it. But then, like, the two kids in our family were like, la di da, like, I mean, they do that anyways during movies, but, like, it was interesting to see, like, the grown-ups more watching it and into it. But, like, my big takeaway with Soul is that it's more of a grown-up, it's not like kids can't get some enjoyment out of it, but, like, the themes, in my opinion, that's my opinion. I'm getting on a tangent here. Anyways, Raya and the Last Dragon is Disney's newest release. The 60th in animated movie that they released. Which, honestly, and it was done okay, so let's talk about the fact that it was done remotely. Watching it, you wouldn't think that it was done remotely. And I'm curious about if the animation, like, they said it was made remotely. We've only been in lockdown for a year, and movies take a long time to develop. So, like, was it the finishing touch it? Like, I'm curious and I really, like, want to go more in depth about that. Like, if you have some knowledge on it, like, let me know. I'm curious, like, how much of the movie exactly was animated remotely, was done remotely, like, the voice acting, was that, like, done prior to, like, this is just things that I'm curious about. Because, like, yeah, it was done remotely. Like, yeah, and it looks really good. Like, honestly, the scenery in Raya is beautiful. The animation in Raya is beautiful. A lot of people are like, oh, she looks a lot like Moana. I see some differences. I see some differences. I don't mean it like that. I mean, what I mean is, not really. I think people are like, oh, it's just another girl with brown skin, and like they look different. They look like it falls into the pitfalls of the Disney 3D style, which is styled in a certain way where you have certain people looking like other characters. Like, they don't have any really unique style. Like, okay, let's compare it to if you think about Pixar's movies, they're all stylized very differently. Like, the animation of the people in Toy Story is a little bit different than, like, the animation of the people in The Incredibles, in my opinion. I haven't watched either movie in a long time. But, I'm so tired today. But, like, you have the animation styles. And to me, they look unique. But, to me, they look unique. Oops, sorry. And then, it falls, people are like, oh, she looks like, it's the same thing as, like, Elsa and Anna looking like Rapunzel. It just falls into the pitfalls of, I think, in my personal opinion, I think they need to take a break from the 3D style for a little bit. Or at least come up with some different models so they don't, like, there were some different body type models used, yes. But like one of the characters, Thong, kind of reminded me of like one of the. I'm curious if it's the same model base because they have models for the people that they animate. So I'm just curious. But Thong reminded. I think that's his name. The guy with the eye patch. I think his name is Thong. But he reminded me of like one of the thugs from Rapunzel. Just the way that the big hulking shoulder, like the broad shoulders and just the height, like that's the first thing I thought of when I actually saw him. He was one of my favorite characters. Um we're gonna get into spoilers later because um but yeah, it's the big hulking shoulder, like, so I'm just curious, is it the same model base? Because I can see like maybe the model base for like it's just the pitfalls of, because people are like, oh, she looks like Moana. Like, I see, like, there are differences. Her hair isn't as wavy as Moana's. Like, Moana's hair is wavy, hers is not. Anyways, like, I looked at several. I like did a comparison when people were making that. I was like, yeah, they don't look. I like it again. It falls into the pitfalls of the using the same model base for all their animated characters. Because, yeah, like, Elsa looks like creepily exactly like their mom. Like, it's because it's the same base. So, like, now I'm just like, is those two the same base? But, anyways, animation aside, holy crap, that movie's good. Oh my gosh. Raya is amazing. So if you don't know about Raya, and the Last Dragon, which at this point, why are you watching this far into the video? But, in case someone like, let's get to the point. It is a Southeast Asian inspired fantasy. Holy crap, the world building is something. I haven't experienced world building like that in a Disney movie in a while. And what I mean by world building, it's not like, okay, I'm using Frozen as an example because it's like one of the most well-known Disney movies that I can think of. So in it, you just you have this kingdom of Arendelle, and like there's not much in the way of until the second movie, and explaining like where did the people of Arendelle come from, how long has the kingdom been around, like you don't get that. But like in Raya and the Last Dragon, yeah, it's a lot of exposition like within the first couple minutes, but holy crap, the world building is amazing. And I love the animation style. Like the lush green trees, and just like watching it, you kind of felt like you were there. Because like later, Raya leaves her are they kingdom or are they chiefdoms? Like, I don't know. But she leaves her part of the world of Kumandra, which, okay, the coolest thing about this world is you look at the map, it's shaped like a dragon. And that was cool too. I was like, holy crap, that's so cool. Points for being unique, because like because I read a lot, and in the books you have a map and the worlds will look like, oh, here's the mountains in the same spot as always, and here's this, and like, okay, a dragon shape is pretty cool. I like that. Uh there's also a lot of themes in this movie that also made you think. Like, the big overarching theme is the theme of trust, which right now I feel like is a big theme, because people are like, oh, I don't know if I could trust you, or I don't know if I could trust this person. But like, it does feel like something's broken with trusting others. Like, I am a very trusting person by nature. Like, that's just my nature. But a lot of people don't just up and trust like a random stranger on the street. Like, oh, here, You just take this, blah, blah, blah. It's mainly because I'm so happy. I'm not really the happy go lucky type person, but it's just because I personally don't think anyone in the world would be out there to hurt me on purpose. Obviously, there are those people. I know that. But, like, my brain's like, oh, this person seems so nice. Until the waitress at Applebee's stole my debit card. That is a whole story. Not right now. But that is a story for another time. When my debit card was stolen from, like, right in front of me. That was a thing. That actually happened. Um, but yeah, you have that, the world building, blah, and yeah, I have seen other people like, oh, it feels like this movie could have been fleshed out more, and we're missing some other things. I don't know what you guys are missing. Like, I thought this movie was great. Like, uh, it doesn't probably mean anything because I cry a lot, but like, except at books, I don't cry at books. Like, because I don't know why that is. I mean, obviously, I do. I have cried at some books. Like, there's a book that really made me cry, and oh my gosh. But the, so it probably doesn't mean much because I'm a crier when it comes to like movies, but like I was like full on sobbing probably like the last 15 minutes of Raya. I was just like, it's so touching. Like, oh, I don't want this. This is a great movie. I'm just so tired. Like, I was full on sobbing. I don't know why. Well, okay. Well, we'll get to that. There's some great characters. There's obviously Raya, who's a little bit different than most of like the female. I don't. Do I still call them Disney princesses? Is she in the lineup? Like, I'm having an existential crisis over this. I'm like, are they done with the Disney princess lineup complete? Because Elsa and Anna are not in the Disney princess lineup, where they were, and then they took it out because Frozen made a crap ton of money for the Disney studios, and like, okay, well, they're not Disney princesses. Plus, I mean, they're both queens, anyways. Blah blah. Um, and then I don't think Moana was added to the Disney. I mean, she may be added eventually, but like, because I have this whole thing like, oh, they let some time pass and then they're coordinated into the Disney princess lineup. I don't even get it. And then they kick you out sometimes. For some reason, they had like Alice and Tinkerbell both in there at one point, and then and I think Wendy was in there too. That'd be a video idea. Talking about the history of the Disney princess line. That would be interesting. Like, no one cares but me. But like, she's different than the other Disney female heroines in the fact that she's like more cynical. Which, given her if like the first 20 minutes of the movie, it's obvious why. Like, it's obvious why. And she has a hard time trusting people. And then we have Sisu, the dragon, who I relate to a lot because Sisu's just a very trusting and open and honest. I don't want to say person. She said freaking dragon, but like I get Sisu. Like, I get her, and just her personality is like, it's pretty like, oh, happy and go lucky, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like, no, I feel the dragon. Why is that like one of the most relatable characters to me? Like, the themes are very relatable, and then you have, what's his name, Boone, the little kid who owns the boat and how they get everywhere. Oh my gosh, I still feel so sorry for him and his backstory. Like, and then Noi, the little cotton baby, as the trailers introduced her as. So cute. I thought little baby. And then Tong. Okay. Oh. It was very interesting because like I didn't even pick it up in the trailers because I wasn't even paying attention. I was just like so captivated by it's so pretty, and is that everyone lives. The places in Kumandra are like named after parts of a dragon. Like you have Fang, Heart, Talon, Spine. Is it Tail? Yeah, and Tail. Like, they're all named after, and so that's like where everyone's from. That's basically you have someone from each little part in their little posse, family, found family. Like that's a major vibe I got from the trailer. I was like, is it a found family? But it's basically, and everyone has something in common. It's basically like, okay, uh, and everyone has something. I lost my train of thought. And everyone has something in common, and it's like, okay, well, what everyone has in common is that they've all been affected by, is it the Droon? Is that what it's called? I might be even repronouncing the shadowy thing, the Droon. And everyone in that group has been touched by it in some way, like it's taken part of their family. Oh, and the case of Tong, I mean, like I'm spoiling everything right now. I already said this is not going to be spoiler friendly. Spoiler. Um, like his whole village was like wiped out by the Droon, and then you have Namari, who's from Fang and Raya's arch nemesis. I won't even call her or her mother a villain. Okay, so that's another thing in this. Like, no one is a villain. And it's more like part of it is like trust and how we all need each other, of how the world needs like everyone to be a more, how it needs everyone and everyone to work together to be the best place that it can be for everyone to reside. And like that was a major theme of it. It's like, oh my gosh, like man, this movie was deep. And but like there's no like, because you kind of look at them and they all have an impression of each other, have how everyone from the different groups, because they all split off 500 like blah, it's explained like for the first 10 minutes of the movie and in some trailers. And so I'm terrible when it comes to explaining movies, but so they've all been, so like that's the thing, you're very wary of like where everyone's from. Like, oh, you're from this place, then you must be like this. And it's kind of like playing into today of how you see some people like, oh, they look like they're from this place, that means they must act like this, that means they must not be as smart as me or as pretty or like whatever. But they're all proven different, like, wrong once you get to know people. And again, the big thing is trust. Like, you need to trust one another. And I've seen some other people talk about, oh, well, I didn't get like one part where like Sisu and her siblings, they gave her the dragon gem to banish like, that made no sense. And what did that? I'm like, yeah, I kind of did, because it played in two and echoed back because they had to put the pieces of the dragon gem back together to banish the Droon, and they all gave it to Namari to do it. And right, it had the trope of like the heroic sacrifice. The heroic sacrifice, like, and that's like kind of when I start crying. I was like, I don't know, I like cried through like the rest of the movie. I was like, oh. But I'm such a crier when it comes to movies, and it's like, yeah, I think. And so back to my point about like, well, that made no sense. Yeah, it kind of did, because I think like maybe her Sisu's siblings wanted her to believe in herself, because she seemed to be like, okay, my siblings are so cool, they're so powerful, but I'm just strong swimmer. It's like my power, like, which, yeah, I get that. And so it's like, okay, well, and so I kind of wanted, and so I think it's kind of echoed in the part with Namari where it's like, okay, yes, you are the strongest in our group, so we're going to trust you with the dragon gem. And so this video is almost 30 minutes. Well, I don't know if I could cease talking about it within 5 minutes because I went on my rant about Soul and the Disney movies. Anyways, and the premiere access prices, and it was just it was a very good movie. And some people are like, oh, it's not anywhere near Frozen level. Frozen wasn't that good, in my opinion. Controversial take. And the only reason why I have this I enjoy Frozen. I think it's a very good movie. In my opinion, things feel like they're missing from Frozen, much how people's like, oh, things are missing from Raya. But like, again, film is art. And yes, I'm calling these both films. It's art, and art is meant to be subjective, and like it's your own interpretation of whether or not you think it's good or bad. But in my opinion, I think Raya is far superior to Frozen. Just like how people's like, well, Tangled is far superior to Frozen, which both statements, in my opinion, are true. Frozen wasn't that great. And I only had that opinion because I work with kids, so I hear the Frozen songs all. And that's not why I don't like Frozen. It's not to say I don't like Frozen. I think, yeah, you could have had something better. Maybe I'll talk about this in another video, like, because Frozen has an interesting history where it's like, I feel like bits were chopped out of Frozen that could have made it better, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Raya was way better than Frozen. And you should all watch Raya. You don't have to pay $30 for it if your theaters are open. And you can be safe in your theater. Go see it in theaters. Support the theaters, because a lot of movie theaters are closing because they can't sustain and be open. Although my movie theater was selling concessions on the curbside. They posted something like, hey, come get curbside concessions. I'm like, I almost did that a couple times because I was like, I don't want movie theater popcorn. I don't need movie theater popcorn, but I was like, I don't want movie theater popcorn. I miss going to the movie theater. But yes, if you can be safe and go see Riot in theaters, go see it. I hear it's a lot cheaper, probably because they're trying to get people to go to theaters. I didn't go to my theater because it's not that far away from me, but I didn't feel like walking. I was like, I'm at my house. I just got my tax return. I'll pay $30 so I can see it. I used my tax return very wisely. I got a bath mat and I paid to see Raya. Yeah. Again, I just think it's far superior to Frozen. Like, it's one of the best Disney movies. I think it's going to be talked about for a long time. Yeah, it should be. But I don't. The later Disney movies, like Frozen and Moana, both to me, like, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy these movies. Again, I'm not saying that they're not good movies and that, we shouldn't watch them. But, like, what I'm saying is, like, from both those movies, to me, felt like they were missing something. And I feel like Raya is the first time seeing an actual original Disney movie where it felt like everything was there. Like, they delivered on everything. And, the cast was amazing. Like, the cast is phenomenal. Alan Tudyk does a great job as a little, whatever Tuk-Tuk is. I didn't even know he was in the movie, and then I saw the animal sidekick, and I'm like, is that Alan Tudyk? And yeah, sure enough it is. But, like, the cast is amazing. The story is amazing. Like, it'll make you cry. Like, it made me cry. It's just a really good story. And I think it's something that anyone can relate to. Like, the story of trust, the story of togetherness, and this, it really hit home for me. Like, it was phenomenal. I get, chef's kiss. I give it 10 stars. I give it 5 stars. No, I give it 5 more. A little scale. No, but it's a great movie. I do recommend that if you have a chance to see it, go see it. But, like, also take my opinion with a grain of salt, because apparently I cry at everything. But and maybe I'll do some more videos talking about like the Disney Princess lineup and like, yeah. Oh, hey, it doesn't get off at 30 minutes. I was just trying to see if I had to wrap it up. But I had a lot of fun talking about this. I think I might do something like watch something on Disney Plus like once a week and film it and just like I love Disney. Like, okay, I have opinions on Disney like that aren't favorable, but like there are corporate overlords who own practically the entire world, so we have to put up with them. Yeah, no, but Kelly Marie Tran does like an amazing job in this movie, and so does Aquafina as Sisu, who is going to. Her voice is so recognizable, even though I've only seen her like in one other movie, which was Crazy Rich Asians. But her voice is just like so recognizable. And she's going to be in the live action version of The Little Mermaid, which I'm on the fence about live action remakes. But yeah. She's going to be Scuttle in that movie, which will be interesting. But yeah, like I said, if you have the chance to watch Raya, again, you don't have to pay $30 for it. You could wait for months and see it. But also, take my opinion with a grain of salt if it's a good movie. Because it is representing real Southeast Asian cultures, you know. Find those people who are also reviewing it. And, you know, the people from the cultures that it's representing, which I need to look into more of which cultures it is and just see what they also say about it. Like, to me, I loved it, but like also it's my interpretation of the movie that I saw. Other people might feel differently, but yeah, just cast your net of reviewers wide. That's also a thing. When you go to people who talk about movies, like cast your net wide. Like I probably watch 5 different people when it comes to reviewing movies before coming up with to see, like, you know, there's the white guys who review it. There's people who review it. You know, the white guys. What I mean is like Doug Walker and Alex Myers, both who I am subscribed to, but I'm like, I'm just more interested. I'm only subscribed to them because I really need to unsubscribe from like Alex Myers. He's really getting on my nerves. Yeah, just cast your net wide and be mindful of the actual people who it is representing, which I need to look into more to see what they think. But like, this was just one person's opinion. You know, check it out for yourself. Listen to other people. If there's something problematic in the movie, you know, that they find, discuss it with other people. And yeah, that is really it for today. I'll see you guys later. Bye.